What is happening to Spider-Woman? Why does she need help? Why are her eyes leaking green acidic ooze? What is with her costume here? Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda, and today I'm here to answer all of these questions and more as I tell you a story about the time Spider-Woman turned into basically acid vomit woman, while also learning the secret truth about her family. New costume, who dis? While the cover of issue number 1 features Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman in her typical yellow and red suit, this arc actually mainly features Spider-Woman in a completely new costume, a black and red affair that many people were not fans of when it was first announced. From just looking at this costume alone, I get it. These colors are already more famous for another spider-related hero, Miles Morales, and it kind of feels like Jess is stealing Miles' look here. But the story actually kind of makes this suit relevant. Let me get into it. Issue number 1 starts mid-action, with Jess acting as a bodyguard for a rich kid's superhero-themed costume birthday party. Of course, that's definitely going to be Jessica's favorite thing to do, which is happening, of course, out on a yacht as well. The girl whose birthday it is, Rebecca Marchand, is actually dressed up as Spider-Woman's BFF, Captain Marvel, aka Carol Danvers. During her time acting as a bodyguard, Spider-Woman is forced to face two groups of goons who attempt to abduct Rebecca, and one of whom completely did not do their research as they try to make Rebecca shimmy up a rope, and Rebecca actually can't use her legs, so yeah. These goons are hoping to earn a handsome ransom in exchange for her return. At least that's what we assume here. More to be discovered later. Fortunately, Jess manages to fight them all off, and to boot, also gets to toss a super obnoxious youngster dressed as Deadpool off board. Karma. Don't worry though, she also tosses him a life preserver to stay afloat until he can be retrieved, of course, which I'm sure she wasn't in too much of a rush to do that later, but it's a pretty funny little moment. After many explosions, the fight comes to a close with Jess victorious, but also having not felt well all day, ends with her throwing up what looks like to be green acid ooze on the deck of the ship before passing out. Why is Jess here? What's with this new suit? Well, all of this is actually explained in the secondary story, where we learn that Spider-Woman is low on cash, so low in fact, that she can't even afford a full cab ride home after doing some hero work, and so she decides to start taking on some mercenary work, some hero for hire work. This was the job she signed on for, and this suit is the one she had specifically made to wear during her hero for hire work. However, it seems like there might be someone else behind the scenes manipulating Spider-Woman, using the suit that she had made to track her and monitor her vitals. In fact, that's how she's able to even pay for this suit, if you were wondering. She doesn't really have the funds, but they're like, you know what? We'll figure something out. Because secretly, Ronnie, who made the suit, is definitely being paid by some other secret, sinister figure. After a quick visit to the night nurse Linda Carter in issue number 2, Spider-Woman learns that she is super sick because she was given something that is basically undoing the work her father did years ago on her to cure her of her radiation poisoning. Suspecting the Marchands, who demanded she do a complete routine physical and also gave her a flu shot, despite her insisting, you know, she doesn't need one because she has superpowers, Jess heads to Marchand Pharmaceuticals, the company Rebecca's father, Michael, owns. After some interrogating, Jessica learns that Michael poisoned her on purpose because he believed her genes were similar to Rebecca's, who was suffering from a degenerative disease which is basically slowly shutting down her system. When Michael explains that he did this to Jess because he was desperate to find a cure for Rebecca, and the same could actually happen to her own son, Jerry, she is on board to help test the cure they've been developing. It makes Jess insanely strong at first, and she heads out on a mission to steal the final ingredient they need to basically perfect this cure that Michael tried to buy but was basically outbid for, the Latrodectus aeternum spider, or Eternum spider. While there, however, she runs into the new villain Octavia Vermis, daughter of at one time Hydra Supreme Otto Vermis. Despite the fact that Jess feels she is at the top of her game, Octavia seems to match Jess's strength, although in the end Jess does succeed in acquiring the spider they need. The research facility Michael has isn't really sufficient to run all the tests they need in order to produce the cure. They need a bunch of research on this spider apparently. They plan to head to Eastern Europe for further testing because they have a better lab over there. While Jess once more gets frustrated that Michael didn't tell her everything about this heist, such as that they were actually stealing from Octavia Vermis and were getting involved basically with Hydra. Jessica also shares with us in a flashback that her son Jerry and her partner Roger have gone to a farm upstate at Jess's request, because she can tell this serum that she's taking to negate her illness is making her her kind of dangerous to be around right now. Also, you know, there's a bunch of goons everywhere, so I'm sure she doesn't want them around that. After more supposedly loyal Marchand employees are revealed to be goons, Jess is forced to help fight their way out to the plane, which Michael flies to their destination, because Michael apparently has a pilot license, so he can do that. Their trip is interrupted by enemy jets, and their plane is forced to crash land. When they get off, they're met with more trouble, and Spider-Woman is forced to fight freaking dinosaurs. Where are they? Well, it turns out this is Wendigo. They're in Wendigo, and those dinosaurs are actually the pets of Jessica's mother, who appears to somehow be alive, and also refers to Michael as Jess's brother, making Rebecca Spider-Woman's niece. What? Having reunited with her long-thought dead mother, Jess learns that Miriam actually faked her death all those years ago. At least that's what it seems happened, which is how she claims she's still alive today. She did so in an attempt to shake Hydra from her trail. While Jess is furious that her mother never came back for her, it's revealed that Octavia Vermis has arrived to claim Michael's and Miriam's research on the spider. During this instigation, Miriam attempts to give up Jessica in exchange for the safety of her and the rest of her family, Michael and Rebecca, after just recently reassuring Jess that she never meant to abandon her. What is happening here? Jess is pulled into a whirlwind of a fight in the next issue, the final issue in this arc, issue number 5. Here it is confirmed that Miriam is actually not the real Miriam, not the first Miriam we ever knew. This is actually a Miriam clone. The real Miriam Drew did die, but lived on in clones via the High Evolutionary. She was disappointed in her daughter, or at least that's what the clone of Miriam claims, saying that Jess chose Hydra instead of coming back for her. Now Jessica insists that she believed her mother was long dead and never knew to come looking for her because she thought she was dead, and adds that she didn't remain with Hydra but actually ended up leaving the organization. All this pours out during an epic fight between Octavia Vermis, Miriam Drew, and Jessica Drew, who all seem to be superpowered. It's a crazy fight with crazy revelations. It's really very comics and very great. Miriam also reveals that she too has been using the same cure/serum Jess was given, which gives her a boost of strength but also ends up making her crazy. Miriam confirms Jess's suspicions, saying that the serum actually makes you stronger but also makes you care less about the people around you. Octavia gets closer to securing all the research she needs, while also cryptically commenting on the strong bonds between mothers and daughters. That gets touched on later in this series. Eventually, she attempts to take Rebecca out with her to keep as her own research sample. Now this is when Miriam, in an attempt to save Rebecca, charges Octavia and activates the lab's self-destruct program, as every lab has in a comic. As Jessica, Rebecca, and Michael make a mad dash towards the exit, they just manage to survive as the facility comes crashing down around them, with Jess protecting them from falling rubble. Super strength. Yeah. As they wander towards Vermis's now of course abandoned helicopters because all the Hydra agents are dealt with, Jess calls out Michael, who seemingly knew the whole time that Miriam was a clone. Both Jessica and Michael vow to find a cure, but decide to ultimately go their separate ways. Jess ultimately returns home, and while on a call with Roger, decides to retire her red and black suit. Sad. That suit actually kind of grew on me throughout this arc. But she decides to ultimately not toss it because the material it's made out of has amazing self-healing properties. Also, she says it makes her butt look amazing. Roger asks when he and Jerry can come back, but Jessica says she needs to see this through first by herself, once more stating to Raj that it's simply not safe for them to be around her right now. Jessica plans to track down the High Evolutionary, but first she needs to recruit a friend for some help. Jumping on her motorcycle and donning her leather jacket suit, she heads over to visit her BFF, Captain Marvel. Setting up the following arc, Jess tells Carol to grab a helmet, saying, "Hop on, loser, we're going to space." And that's why Spider-Woman is in desperate need of help. She does not have powers and she's very sick. More specifically, she needs help in a cure form, and also where her new suit came from, for anyone who is wondering about that. I'll see you next time. Until then, stay nerdy, YouTube.